I generally don't care much for these things, but let's examine two presidents and their record and their polling. Okay, this is what I say all the time, folks, about messaging, because if it was solely based on the performance, Trump would have like an 80% approval rating right now. And I'm going to prove it to you. Watch this. Think about this. Biden was beating Trump in approval ratings going into each of their second-year State of the Union speeches. Biden was at 41%, and Trump today sits at 36%. I know, right? Like, what? The dude was asleep half the time, eating, like, Metamucil. But let's compare what was actually going on respective to each presidencies at the time. In 2022, the inflation was on the rise, 7.9%, almost 8% right before the same time in Biden's presidency. Okay? Trump's inflation rate is literally less than a third of that, sitting under 2.5%. You see how different this is? I mean, that alone should put Trump way ahead in approval ratings, proving how messed up this system is. Let's do foreign policy, okay? Biden had just had the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan 5 months prior to his second-year State of the Union. Got 13 service members killed, checked his watch during the dignified transfer, and left $80 billion of our weapons and night vision and vehicles and other things to the Taliban. Literally, the Ukraine-Russian war kicked off 4 years ago today. Kazakhstan just had bloody January. Hundreds of protesters were mowed down in the streets over protesting over natural gas costs spiking. Myanmar conflict, Ethiopia civil war, Yemen was staging Houthi pirate attacks on international shipping channels, North Korea had just resumed missile testing, and Haiti was on the verge of collapse with like cannibals running around. We're getting wrecked at Biden. This time in Biden's presidency, we were getting absolutely destroyed by other countries, massive trade deficits. Then let's fast forward 4 years to Trump, who just snatched a dictator that was oppressing his own people, who was falsely elected, that was aligning with China to put offensive missile positions close to the U.S. border in Venezuela. Oh, he also did that operation without a single American casualty. Flawlessly executed the bombing on Iran's nuclear facility. No troops or equipment, no troops killed, no equipment damaged. He got, this is crazy, he got NATO to pony up from 2% to 5% of their GDP for the alliance, adding more than $1 trillion to military preparedness globally. A ton of peace deals. I mean, Gaza ceasefire, Armenian, Azerbaijan, Congo and Rwanda, Thailand and Cambodia, Israel, Iran. Remember that ceasefire? Egypt, Ethiopia, Nile Dam dispute. I'm not even talking about the Abraham Accords from his first presidency, not to mention the Board of Peace that he just convened. He brokered mineral concessions with China, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff revenues. Forget closing the border, he did that on like day 2. And Trump has a lower approval rating from doing all those things I just showed you than Biden? Again, eating runny oatmeal? Let's do the economy. At this time in Biden's presidency, he had presided over telling you that you can't go to work because of COVID. He literally shut, and then to go back to work, he worked with blue states to force you to take a vaccine. I didn't take it, but many had to. Many places made you cover your face. That's if your company hadn't gone under already or outsourced jobs to wherever a stand. But the whole shutdown was now, we know, is entirely useless. It did absolutely nothing. Biden presided over printing trillions of dollars that we know a lot went to fraud. I mean, people went to jail for it. Real wage growth under Joe Biden was down. Now let's do Trump. Take a look at his economy. Real wage growth? Oh, real wage growth is up, not down. Trillions of foreign investment into this country. Manufacturing coming back from tariffs. Unemployment actually is slightly up, but from who? Yes, unemployment. The unemployment number under Donald Trump is a little bit higher than it was under Joe Biden at the same time 4 years ago. But employment among American-born workers is higher and on the rise, while foreign-born employment is going down. More Americans, as you can see, this is the shutdown, by the way, more Americans are employed. And I think it's most important to note that Biden's job numbers were only as good as they were because he created hundreds of thousands of government jobs, which are a net drain on the economy, whereas Trump has gotten the federal employment to its lowest level since the 60s, meaning that the jobs he has created are actually contributing to the economy, not being fed by tax dollars. So, look, you see why I say about this whole messaging thing and why that's so important. After all the data I just gave you, would you say that Biden deserves like a 5-point higher bump over Trump? Of course not. Leaving to the conclusion that either people being polled are not paying attention, or the people who are supposed to be on Trump's side out in the media telling the story are not doing their part on the messaging. It's actually probably both.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.